What's up, everybody? If you are just tuning into this channel for the first time, I am Krulsawat with Simply Vegas, the host of the LV Home Experts radio show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So today, I do have my special guest and also co-host and the king of kings of all gurus of financing, Dan French with Guaranteed Rate.
What's up?
What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. What's happening?
How's your day going so far?
Good.
Yeah.
Always, it's always good. I mean, working and getting through it all. It's good that we got on time this time because usually we're trying to get set up.
Scrambling and like rushing like very late. That's like so unprofessional of me.
Well, we're busy, man. You're busy
no.
too. You're traveling all the time. You got stuff moving all the time, dude.
I know. I like literally rushed out here, dude, just to get on the show.
I know. I'm telling you, we're busy. I mean, it's
and to
it's a
throw
good thing.
everything together, but we managed to do it.
Good problem to have,
So on today's topic, what we're going to be discussing is crazy market. So there's a couple things I want to talk about. Number one, let's talk about lumber pricing and how that affects new homes, okay? And number two, resale. What's going on in the resale market and how to actually get your offer accepted. So I'm going to walk you through the process and the things that you need to look out for. If your agent is not a strong agent or if they're not in the business for some time, this could possibly help to get your offer accepted. Also, we're going to be talking about financing with Dan too as well, the financing market, what's going on with the financing market, and also we're going to take some of your comments. Wow, I seem like I'm getting a lot better at this, ain't I?
Oh, you're great. Matter of fact, I'll just sit back and listen.
You want to know something? I actually took that from our old show.
What's that?
Like how you started the radio show. Basically, I just mimic exactly what you did.
That's funny.
Because you are very good at that. So I want to give you a shout out to that.
I'm all right. No. Nah, we're good.
Look, it has nothing about being good. Look, at the end of the day, Dan is actually a better host than I am. I just don't talk well. Dan has a great radio voice, and he really does.
I think they're looking for content, man.
Well,
I don't know about the voice.
Content definitely does play a part. However, it does play a part. However, there's something about your voie.
They're looking at it like
smooth.
Hey, how do I get into a house, and what is the least path of resistance to get that?
So last week you did mention something about lumber costs and how lumber is getting more expensive and it is affecting the housing market. Correct?
Oh yeah.
Can you elaborate again on that? I don't know. Do you remember the statistics as far as the lumber costs and what's going on?
I didn't look it up, but I believe it was like 170% it was increased. And basically it's pushing builders' time frames out because they're not getting enough lumber to build homes.
Yeah.
And so also the cost is extremely high.
Yep.
And they're passing it to the consumer. It's a builder's thing. They're not going to lose money.
Now, one thing that I've noticed about the lumber costs going up. Now, this is how it affects you as actually a buyer. What builders are doing now is they are releasing lots at a certain time, right?
Yeah.
But now that they are releasing lots, what they are doing is they're hedging against lumber. By hedging against lumber, so they're pre-buying lumber, right?
Like in bulk?
Well, not in bulk, right? So each home, the way that homes are designed is based upon tract homes. So when you have a tract home, let's say you have a certain type of model that you're selling across the country.
Right.
So you have a contract with the A-framers, right?
Yeah.
Which A-frame is just the A-frame, your trusses.
Right.
And that's a third-party company that just builds that. Then you have another third-party company that just orders all the lumber for that particular model. So that's how it works.
Yeah.
So what they do is they hedge against it. So they buy now for the near future. But how does that affect you? Well, this is how it affects you as a consumer.
It's almost like buying oil.
Basically, that's exactly what it is. All right. Huh. So this is how it affects you, and this is how the builder makes money. So the builder is hedging against costs of going up, right, for that material, for that model.
I see.
How it affects you as a buyer is this. The model that you want, typically you can go in and pick the lot you want, right? But then you can pick the structural options, like change the fourth bedroom into a den. You can no longer do that now. So what builders are doing is based upon the models that are being released, they will let you know, they will put you on a reserve list. They also want you to be approved with their lender, but this is how it affects you. You may not want that floor plan that you're looking for. So if you don't want that floor plan, you may not even get that lot or that property. So if you don't want it, they'll just move on to the next buyer. So let's just say if you have a master bedroom with a bathroom that has a tub shower, but you want that master spa like, whoever spec'd out that home, because they're hedging against the lumber costs, they've already spec'd it out. So you may not even have that option. And that's what I'm starting to see from one builder to another. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. I think too, though, like,
because of supply and demand.
Well, they're strong arming the situation, really. They're saying either you take it or leave it.
That's how it is.
You don't have options. So it goes back to, well, then I'm buying new. That's one of the luxuries of buying new, right? It's one of the perks.
Yes.
Why would you buy new then? I mean,
now, however, okay, because they are pre-ordering lumber, but you do have the option still to pick options as far as interior designs. But as far as structural designs, like electricals on the floor, a certain type of water features, right? Electrical features that you may have to pick up front. You don't have a choice. They're going to be picking it for you, which is kind of a bummer, because if there's a certain floor plan that you want, now you're limited, right? So, and also you got to wait for that lot to be released. As that lot being released, you may have 10 people in front of you trying to get that lot.
So really you're running out of options.
Basically, yes, running out of options. Now, on resales, let's get into resales. Resale, the market right now is very tough. Anything that's under $1 million, you're going to have multiple offers. Like average days on the market now, it's like less than like 12 days. It is moving fast. I mean, you know this, Dan, right? Where
it's crazy,
people in today's market, right, is paying above the appraised value. One of the challenges that you're going to have, especially if you are a conventional buyer, FHA buyer, or a VA buyer, cash buyers are starting to slip in now because the sellers are accepting cash buyers, where cash buyers are not getting an appraisal done.
Appraisal contingency waived.
Unbelievable. Like, who would in the right mind waive appraisal contingency?
I think anybody that's desperate. You got to be desperate.
Yes.
You know?
Correct. Now, so today we're going to go over how to write up a clean contract, right? Because that's what it really comes down to. It's not always about the highest offer, but if there are multiple offers, how do you beat the other offers? How do you beat cash offers? And the things that you need to know, right? As an agent, as a buyer, how to write up a clean offer, okay? So we're going to start by this. Number one, you got to get approved, right?
Yeah.
And there are 4 different types of approvals out there. You got the pre-qual, pre-approval, conditional approval, underwritten approval, okay? A lot of lenders won't give you an underwritten approval until you're actually under contract. However, the next best thing is a conditional approval. Explain the conditional approval, Dan.
Well, there's a conditional approval where you send in your paperwork. You got a pre-qual, and then you got a pre-approval.
Yeah.
The pre-qual is just getting an application and then going over the application part of it. It's really minimized on how much information that's given.
Yeah.
Where if you do a pre-approval, the pre-approval has all the paperwork in. It backs up everything the buyer says. It's about as legit as you're going to get. Underwriting, they don't want to send it to an underwriter. Why? Because it costs money for banks.
Yeah.
So pre-approval is important. That's probably the best way to go, and it's the most legit.
So to get that conditional approval, what does a consumer need in today's market in order to get that conditional approval from you?
Well, you got to show there's credit capacity collateral. You got to show all that, right?
Yeah.
You got to have a path of how you can actually obtain the house or the loan. And then also too, you got to back up your documentation with recent pay stubs, W-2s, tax returns. And if you're, a self-employed buyer, there's a lot of data and a lot of paperwork out there. And there's a lot of stuff that what's neat is that they can do actually, it's almost like it automatically goes and searches online to verify your stuff.
Yeah.
So in some cases you don't have to provide all the paperwork because technology is getting better.
Yeah.
But still you want to support your paperwork.
So where you want to start, by visiting lvhomeexperts.com, and you're going to click on the financing link, which will take you to the Get Started button with Dan French with Guaranteed Rate. You're going to go ahead and click this, okay? Then at this point, you're going to go ahead and fill out the information. After you hit this, you're going to fill out the Apply Now, then fill out the information. However, when you do fill out the information, please make sure to fill it out completely. Be truthful and honest as possible, so that way Dan can actually get you the numbers that you need, okay? Do you want to say anything, elaborate on that a little bit?
I think everybody's different. Yeah. So it's just, it's a moving target.
Now, also, if they feel uncomfortable by providing that information, you can also do this over the phone too as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. I think too, people, a lot of people out there doing loans, they know that online is a good way to start, but they also feel probably a little bit more at their pace.
Yeah.
So
now also I wanted to address this too as well. Dan is a good place to get started. Make sure to request a lending estimate. It's always best to shop around for the best rates, the best fees, but it's not always about the lowest APRs or also the lowest interest rate. It also plays a factor on how responsive that lender is, because remember, if you got 35 days to close, you need to make sure you can close within 35 days. If not, you can kiss that earnest money deposit goodbye. So let's get started into this. How do we write up a clean offer? So one of the first things that you're going to do after you get your letter of approval, right? Now your agent's going to send over the purchase agreement, and also they're going to send over the approval letter. Now, believe this or not, okay, or believe it or not, the way that the email is to be sent on over shows the listing agent how professional you are. So on the subject line, what you're going to do is you're going to put the address of the property, the MLS number. You're going to write offer to purchase, and also the buyer's full name. The reason why is because that listing agent is getting inundated with a bunch of offers, right? You want your offer to stand out. Also, when they pull up their email, you want them to identify it right away. So that's part of a strategy. Now, in the body of the email, this is how I always do this. Hey, Mr. Listing Agent, please find the attached copy of the offer to purchase. Should you have any questions pertaining to my buyer's conditional approval, please reach out to Dan French with Guaranteed Rate Mortgage. This is his number, blah, 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 and also his email address. Also, what I do is CC the lender. The reason why I CC Dan on this is so that way Dan can tag team and also follow up right away with an email or a telephone number, right?
Yeah.
So now what we're doing is we're tag teaming this listing agent, and then this listing agent is starting to realize, like, man, these guys, they probably know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, it's true.
Now, there are certain things that we can actually do to favor your offer. So let me give you an example. There was a property that was listed for $411,000.
Right.
Okay? How did we get our offer accepted? Well, one of the tips and techniques that we did, and there were multiple offers as far as cash offers and all that, okay? Now, offer was written at $425,000.
Okay.
Now, I don't think it's going to appraise at $425,000. However, as a consumer, if you think that it's going to appraise for that, and if you're willing to pay for that, then we will write it up for that.
Right.
However, there's certain language that I use on the additional terms, and one of those language is this. Buyer agrees to pay $5,000 above the appraised value, but not to exceed $425,000. Okay. The reason why I do this instead of an escalation clause, right? This protects the buyer, and we could do a couple things. Okay. If the property only appraises at $425,000, that means the buyer doesn't have to come out of pocket $5,000.
Yep.
If it appraises at $423,000, he only has to come out of pocket $2,000.
Right.
You see how that makes sense?
Yeah. So basically, the worst case, he's coming out of pocket, or she is coming out, is $5,000.
Yeah, but that also depending case by case on your buyer. You got to know your buyer.
Well,
and what your buyer's willing to pay over the appraisal.
But you're on the other side. You got a listing agent that's looking out for their seller,
and they want to get most bang for the buck.
So why would they take? I'm not saying this. You write clean offers, very clean offers. But I'm just curious. Would they just bypass that in this market and just say, you know what? Doesn't matter how clean it is or how great it looks. We don't want to have somebody that's going to have an appraisal contingency.
So here's the thing. That's a good point. However, if the property was only worth $411,000, but my buyer's willing to pay $5,000 more, from a cash deal financing, because typically it takes you about less than 25 days to close a deal.
Yep.
Cash deal is probably about 14 days. My question to you is, if I can make you $5,000 more, and you got to wait a couple more days, as an entrepreneur or a business person, that would actually make sense, correct?
Yeah, and there's not a lot of movement, so it does make sense, because if you're going to be in the house and people aren't willing to budge, you got people that know that this is a hot market for sellers.
Yeah.
So they're going to maximize their dollar. And I guess that's exactly what's happening here in this case.
So basically what we're doing is we're writing a clean offer. We're also giving the seller what they want, but also we're giving my buyer what they want, but also have an option where, hey, if it appraises, we're good to go. You're coming zero out of pocket for that, okay?
Yeah.
Worst case scenario is $5,000. But the buyer wants the property bad enough that they're willing to pay $5,000. Again, some buyers may only have $2,000. Some buyers may have only $1,000. It's all case by case basis.
Regardless, they're coming out of pocket. They're just not coming out 15, 20 above.
Exactly. So we got to play
minimizing
the
damages that could happen, right?
So what this does is it tells the the listing agent a couple things. Okay, he knows what he's doing, but also we could probably get this thing appraised higher and also make more money. So that really beats out the cash buyers. You see what I'm saying?
It does, because cash buyers are probably trying to lowball a little bit, right?
Well,
because they got cash?
Well, not necessarily in today's market, because cash buyers, they understand what's going on.
Okay.
So if there's an offer at, if the seller is asking for 11, in today's market, the cash buyers are pretty savvy. They already know what's going on. If they're buying it because they want to buy it at this point, they're going to offer for the 411, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes cash buyers may go to 415. But how do we beat them out? Well, that's how we beat them out. We got to play the game. So the whole idea here is to offer the 425, get the appraisal down below 411, right? Because now what happens is we're under contract. Look.
So the highest they can go up from that is $5,000.
Basically. So here's the thing. We changed the game. So what we do is we meet the appraiser, right? Then we beat up the appraiser. Yo, drop the price. Just, you don't drop it, you're going to get a black eye.
That's right.
That's right. So that's how we do it. You see what I'm saying? So now it drops down.
You meet an appraiser out there. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Give me, like, how do they feel about it? Because they're out there and they're like, you're a realtor, right? You're trying to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So are you here to be my buddy or?
No. So what I do, this is the technique and it works all the time, right? I bought these knee pads over at Home Depot. They're about $50 and they're like so comfortable, dude.
Yeah. Okay? And what do you do with those?
You put on the knee pads.
Yeah.
Right.
And you start doing some work around the house.
Yeah. Make sure to get a helmet. No, I'm just kidding. So what we really do is we actually pull the comps of the property.
Yeah.
And obviously we print it up and we go and we meet the appraiser. Now we could do this two ways. Okay. We can kind of fib it and force the appreciation up, right? Through sales, right? Because that's what we do, sales. Or we can down talk it. We can downplay it too as well. You see what I'm saying? Now,
do you think they take consideration in what you're saying, like fully, or is it more of just like, I'll take it. I always think of it like this.
Appraisers don't like realtors.
They don't. No, well, that's what I'm saying. So they're almost like an attorney. It's like you got to go plead your case, and it's like, well, I'm a judge and I'll see if,
No, you're absolutely right.
It's crazy.
But it's all how you approach people. You see what I'm saying? You can go in with a negative way, or you can go with a positive way. Well, you got to sound
competent too. You can't just show up and be like, I think this is going to be this. And, you got to show up with some evidence or some type of, okay, give me your argument. You're pitching an argument.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's how you have to talk to these people. You got to show them respect because that's what they do. I mean, that's their job. Yeah. I'm not here to tell them their job. I'm just here to say, hey, this is what I think it's worth. And this is how I'm getting this information.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Are we looking at the same information? And that's all I want to do.
Yeah.
Now, there's times where I can challenge the appraiser, but there's a lot of times where I challenge the appraiser, and basically they just, no, we're not going to reduce the price or drop the price. And we've ran across that problem a couple times. Because
I think it depends too on, the day that you meet that appraiser.
Yeah.
They could be having a bad day.
Yeah.
I think most appraisers are cool. I don't really like, you can't really talk to them, but I think they're usually receptive.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, like I'm saying, it's just how you approach the situation in any circumstance.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
It all plays a part. Everything that you do down, like every little part of this, like the appraiser, writing the contract, talking to the listing agent, having a lender on the other side, that all plays a big part, dude. Mm-hmm. Really does.
Now, one of the things that I want to discuss in the purchase agreement is the earnest money deposit. Now, earnest money deposit, what that is, it is a deposit that you are putting into an escrow account in good faith just to let the seller know, should I breach the contract, you're entitled to this money.
I want to ask something about that.
Yes.
Okay. Earnest money deposit. Most people have to put one down, but it's not necessary to have an earnest money deposit money.
No,
right?
That's always negotiable. However, the lower it is, the less chances of you getting your offer accepted. Typically, when you're buying a home that's around $500,000, it's going to be about $5,000. Okay. Now, with the earnest money deposit, I like to deposit it within 2 business days.
Sure.
Okay. So that's what I always put into the contract. Now, a couple things that you need to take a look with the contract is the appraisal contingency. Now, there's a timeline with the appraisal contingency. You want to explain the appraisal contingency, Dan?
Yeah, you have a date where it depends. If you're buying cash, it's different. But for a lender, you get a contract. There's a certain amount of time where you order the appraisal, have the appraisal come back. You have so many days to do that. And then what's key about that, everything in lending is all about turn times.
Yeah.
You know, turn times for underwriting, turn times for appraisals, turn times for, close of escrow, like how quick things can get in and get out. You know, one of the things is the appraisal part is probably the most key because the appraisers work on their own time clock. You know?
You're absolutely correct. So when it comes to appraisal, right, in today's customary practices, understand it's 21 days or sooner, okay? VA appraisers may take a little bit longer, so it's case-by-case basis. Now, there are two conditions when it comes to the appraisal, the purchase price. So for this case, if the home came back and only appraised at 405 or 400, let's just say, now we got to renegotiate the deal. Now, if the seller doesn't agree, we cancel out of the deal. Worst case scenario, the seller lost out on the home inspection and also on the appraisal money, right? Now, the second thing on the appraisal is, does it meet the conditions of VA, FHA, or conventional guidelines? Let me give an example. Let's say VA goes inside, finds out there's no flooring to the house, needs flooring. Pool pump is broken. That may be a condition in order for it to appraise for the 425. Okay, so those are the two conditions. Now, the thing about it is we have 21 days to get this thing done. Now, because we have 21 days to get this thing done, time is of the essence. So what this means is that you have to get the appraiser out there. Well, you actually have to get it ordered, get the appraiser out there, get it to appraise, fix all the conditions, and also get it negotiated within the 21 days. If you pass the 21 days, what you're saying is you're going to forfeit that and you're still going to move forward with this contract. Now, this is where it's very important, where you do all your homework up front, where you get conditionally approved through Dan, right? Once you're approved, so that way you can kind of lay back a little bit. You're not in a rush. However, time is of the essence. Once you have a fully executed contract goes over to Dan. He's going to start this process. He can't order the appraiser, right, to go out there to get the appraisal back, right? Because Dan may need some items, and there's certain things that you need in order to order the appraiser, right?
Well, you just have to have an intent to proceed. I mean, you got to show promise to the lender because you start collecting money and you start doing things like that. You know, you got to show that you're committed.
Yes.
And so that's a big part.
So time is of the essence. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is items that are attached to the property. This is very important. Normally with everything that's attached as far as like fireplace, now I'm just going to give you some examples. What is actually included, like the solar panels, telephone lines, the windows. It just kind of breaks it all down into this contract. But there's an additional line here that I always add in the contract, which is all items to be included as stated in MLS, blah, 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 as of this date. The reason why I put this verbiage in here is because what happens is this. Once an agent inputs the information into the listing, right? At that point, sometimes the agent may take out the refrigerator, washer, and dryer. Reason why I have this in here, and I also submit my offer with the MLS, is because sometimes they could change it. Now there could be a problem. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
So we just want to protect the buyer. Now, another thing is, let's talk about title company and escrow. Now, when it comes to an escrow company, right, the buyer has a right to use any escrow company they want, because if they want a certain title company to do the title, that's fine. But now if both parties want to use separate, right, title companies, then the fees could be a lot more money. So one of the things that I like to do is use the preferred, right, escrow company that the listing agent wants to use, okay? For me, it doesn't matter because it's all regulated by AAA, which is an insurance company. So you can't have one title company charge $10,000 for an escrow fee. It's all regulated, okay? They may have miscellaneous fees here and there, but it's not a big deal. It's going to be off by a couple $100.
I mean, and let's be honest. How many people are really seeking out to get a title company? Like, you're only going to do it, once, maybe a few times in your life?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to be running like a car insurance, It's like, you're not going to need it all your life,
Now, the only thing that's going to be important is the type of policy that you receive. Now, when you're investing in title, right, it's how you invest in title and also the insurance policy. And we talked about this when we had the lenders I'm sorry, when we had the escrow officers, Julie Summerlin from Fidelity National Title.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't had a chance to check out that video, I will have a link in the description below, so that way you guys can actually watch that video. We actually went into depth. That's really good information. Man, I feel like it's hot right now. I feel like I'm moving fast.
No, you're good.
Ooh, I feel hot. Maybe it's the coffee. Dan, that's what I did. I actually drank the coffee.
That's what I need you to do, man. You need to start drinking that caffeine, bro.
I know.
Come in, you need that caffeine.
So title insurance policy is very important. There's so many different type of policies out there. Just make sure to get with your lender and also with your agent to find out which policy covers your home and the best policy that fits for you.
Question: why does somebody need title insurance, though?
Well, the reason why you need title insurance is because what happens is when you buy a piece of property, there are things that are attached to the property. You got encumbrance, right? So let me give you an example. You got sewage, trash, you got utilities that are connected to it, right?
Sure.
You got the CC&Rs, or actually the HOAs. So understand that when you buy a property, these are things that are actually transferred. The previous owner could probably owe bills and back bills, right? Or there could be a lien against that person. So an attorney files a lien against that property.
Okay, we do a lot of new homes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot here for a second.
Ooh,
all right. I know you're hot right now, but I'm going to make you maybe more hot.
Ooh.
So you got a new home builder that is charging all the fees to the buyer, including title insurance.
Correct.
Right? Why do you need title insurance if it's a new home?
Well, the reason why you need
because there's nobody that's owned that house before the person buying the house.
Well, the reason why you need title insurance is because once the home is built, now you just created a chain of title. So you're basically the beginner of that title.
But you pay a fee because look, I'm not saying that you don't pay title fees. I'm just curious. I'm not trying. You're a title company out there. You're representing a builder. Builders know they're all connected, right, with the title company. And so the question I have is and I always thought this.
If there's no home, why are you paying a title?
Why are you paying a title fee if there's nobody before? You're looking at liens, encumbrances, and all kinds of stuff, right?
Great question, because what that is it's an insurance policy, okay? So you're starting from scratch. But let's just say if there was a lien, because remember, it starts off with a piece of dirt. What happens if they didn't pull that and there was something attached to that dirt? So now you owe on that money. You see what I'm saying? It's a policy that covers you.
No, I know.
It's like car insurance, dude. It doesn't matter. If the car was built, right? You're the first person that owns it.
Yeah.
You should have insurance on that car, right?
Yeah, you should have insurance. But when you talk about chain of title and there's no chain of title prior to, that's the only thing I think of.
Well, the only time you make a good point, but let me interrupt you because I'm hot right now. Okay?
You're on fire.
I'm on fire right now. That's the reason why they have owner title policy.
Right.
So that's probably what you're talking about, owner title policy. Why do we need owner title policy instead of title insurance?
Right.
There's two different things. You have one on the buying side and you have one on the selling side. But the reason why you have one on the selling side,
it's not going to go away.
No, it's not going away. you have to have it because remember, the builder bought that piece of dirt.
Yeah.
There's something that's attached to that dirt.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? There's still cumbrance attached to that dirt. So that's the reason why you have the owner title policy. But once it gets transferred, then you pay title insurance. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. It's
woo.
It's a little confusing, but
yeah,
just like
that is on a different episode and not on today's episode. Now, another thing that I want you to take a look at is we already talked about this. You already went into it before I did. Is title insurance. Now, typically on a contract on title insurance, right? If you can't get free and clear title, you have a right to cancel out of this deal.
Right.
It's a remarkable title. However, you can still buy a property, but you would have to sign off on a waiver. Now, let's talk about due diligence period. Due diligence period is very important. Typically in today's market, it's 10 days. 10 days or less.
What is that for, though?
So this is where you're going to do all the inspections to the home. And also, if you have buyer remorse, you have a right to cancel out of the transaction. Okay? So this is where you're going to do all your inspection. Typically, you'll hire a general home inspector. Okay? Make sure they are licensed and bonded. This is very important. Typically, home inspectors is a good place to start because this is what they do. They take a look at the foundation, the structural, the roof, right? The AC, the cooling, right? Also electric and the plumbing. Those are the main components of the home.
This is what a home inspector does.
That's what a home inspector
I want
does.
to ask you one thing about this because this kind of ties into it. SRPD.
Okay.
Okay.
Which stands for a seller real property disclosure form.
So a seller has to fill that out.
Correct.
They give that to the buyer. The buyer can also back out within 4 days if something comes up with the house that they see that can't be fixed. Is that right?
Well, typically that would be delivered. And here's the thing, what happens is once they receive the SRPD, they have a right to back out, but they're also doing their home inspection too as well. And an agent will typically have that on over during your due diligence period. But if it does pass that, you still have an option to back on out.
So there's never an instance where you do the home inspection.
Yeah.
You're 3 weeks in. You have to supply that, 7 days prior to closing, and they get it 8 days out, and you're like,
no. And if there was a construction
it should already
defect,
been already taken care of, right?
Yeah. If there was a construction defect on there,
Yeah.
then at that point you can cancel out. Now, even though that there's a construction defect, and I'm going to go down to a different whole rabbit hole. If there's a construction defect now, what I'm going to do is find out who the attorney is, because what happens is sometimes there's a construction defect, a lien against the property, but there's nothing wrong with the property.
Right.
The problem, what happened was somebody else had a problem with the builder. That attorney sent out a letter to everybody and say, hey, look, you know what? There could be a defect against your home. Let me send out a free home inspection, right? Now what you did was you signed a petition. Now your property's tied to a litigation. So now I got to go back and unwind that thing.
Yeah.
And also, we already done a home inspection. There's probably nothing wrong with your property. However, I want to make sure that you're part of that litigation just in case if something does happen.
But it's like you're buying a new home.
Yeah.
Builders are sellers too.
Correct.
They have to disclose if there's an issue, or if they get an issue, they have to fix it, right? Wouldn't you think? Especially if they're filling something out
Yes,
like the SRPD.
That is true. However, you do sign a waiver form, right? When you go through these purchase agreements with the builders, because at the end of the day, it's what's in black and white.
It's in the little fine print.
Yeah,
that you can't read.
It's like this.
So it's always geared for the builder to make the money.
The contract always favors the person who wrote the contract.
Yeah.
How do you play against their game? Against the seller?
Get a magnifying glass.
That is true too. Now what you will do is this. You got to understand the game. If you understand the game, you can play the game to win.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got
so
it.
that's your due diligence period. Roger that. Now, a couple things that fees that should be paid in today's customary practices. Escrow fees, 50-50. We split it between buyer and seller. Okay. Transfer tax. We always negotiate the seller to pay for it in today's market. We also negotiate
But the builder wants you to pay for it though too, right? In that.
Yes, that's if we went new homes.
New homes.
Okay.
Got it.
We're talking about resale right now.
Okay.
Also on resale, we want the seller to pay for the owner title policy. In exchange, we are paying for the lender title policy and the appraisal. Okay. So now we're making the fees 50-50 all the way across the board. Owner title policy. Do you want to explain owner title policy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm already tired, but it's just like, it's good.
Am I running you out?
No. I mean, this is the process, man. And it's like,
Yeah, people don't know how
dude, it's so detailed and it's so
Yeah.
lengthy and there's so many moving parts.
Yeah.
So owner's policy, it's really there to protect.
Lender title policy, you mean?
You said owner's title.
No.
Lenders.
Yeah.
So lender's title policy is there to protect the lender, and the lender wants you to do it to make sure that there's no liens and that the chain of title is accurate. There's no encumbrances or anything on title.
The reason why the lender wants you to do this, obviously, because at the end of the day, you don't really own that property.
No.
You control that asset or that liability, whatever you want to call it, according to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is I agree, but that's a whole nother subject, is this. Oh my God, I just burped. I apologize. Is this. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah.
You don't own the property.
Yeah, you don't own the property. At the end of the day, you have to understand that this asset, this liability really belongs to the bank. However, you do control that asset.
I mean, it does.
So they just want to protect their
liability.
liability.
They're the beneficiary, but,
Correct.
you get a reconveyance deed paid off. I mean, ultimately, it's collateral. Mm-hmm. That's what a mortgage is. It's collateral.
Correct. Now, let's talk about the closing date. This is another important timeline. So in today's market, the way that I write this is I do 35 days or sooner. Okay. The reason why I have this verbiage is because you can close a lot faster. I don't want to wait for 35 days to close, right? Sometimes we'll close in 25 days, 21 days, right? So that gives us the verbiage, the language, hey, we're going to close within this time period, okay? And that's where we go back to working with the right lender is so important because time is of the essence and you want speed. You see what I'm saying? I don't think you're with me right now.
I'm looking at this this thing right here that you got this
What?
the award you received. I gotta show this real quick, man.
Oh, you want to show it?
Can I pick this up?
Yeah, you can. It's kind of heavy though.
Wow, that's nice. Look at this thing, man.
It's kind of cheesy
This
though.
is, no, I think it's unique.
Yeah.
Top producer, man.
Well, you know what? I'm actually doing a video on that. I haven't released it yet, so I can't wait to release that video. And
Dude, it's like you know what? It's different. I like
is.
different. I don't want it to be like nothing against this one you got here from Inspirata,
yeah.
but it just looks.
Well, I like that one. Show that Inspirata one. That kind of looks tight, man. Show that
I don't
camera.
know, man. I don't like it too much. I'll be honest with you.
Really?
It's plain, man. This is hot. This is plain. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me.
No, I don't know.
So
Now, where was I going with this? Okay. Now, let's talk about an HOA. Okay. So, when you're buying a property within an HOA community, right? Somebody's got to pay fees, and there are 3 fees that are associated with this.
HOA fees?
Yes, that have to do with HOAs, okay? You have the CIC demand, all right? Now, what a CIC demand is, it's the title company has to reach on out to the HOA company, say, does this person that owned the property, is there any liens against that person? Because sometimes people can own a property, not pay an HOA.
People don't understand that the HOA's got some power here.
They got first lien position.
I'll tell you, they can foreclose if you don't pay your fees.
Over property taxes.
And guess what? You got to pay. It's like going to a collection company, right?
Basically.
It's crazy.
They're strong arming you.
Heck yeah.
So basically what has to happen is the seller has to pay for this fee. They don't have to, but it's customary practices that a seller pays for this. Now you got CIC capital contributions. What a contribution fee is, it's a fee that you pay one time for the HOA as a new person that's buying it. Now it is customary that the buyer pays for that, okay? Now there's another bogus fee, which is a CIC transfer fee and setup fee, which the HOA says, you know what? For us just to transfer this over to a new owner by pushing some letters inside of a computer, hey, this is a new owner, we're charging you $280.
Question.
Yeah.
Builders, do they have their own title companies?
So, yes, builders do have their own title companies and also their lenders too as well. Also their home warranty companies.
Couldn't that feel like, I'm not saying it is.
You are signing a waiver and there's a disclosure, affiliated business disclosure.
Everybody has to do that, but doesn't that seem like it's a little bit not legit? I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm not saying
Do you want the home?
That's exactly right. So,
There you go.
who wins, right? The builder.
Well, we both win at the end of the day if you know what you're doing. Now, going back to the CIC capital contributions and the transfer fees, in today's customary practices, you probably should be paying for it, okay? Now, the other thing is, before we close, 3 days before we close this transaction, we're going to do a final walkthrough to the property. This, right, you want to put 3 days. Reason why you want to do this is because before we close, you want to make sure they moved on out, especially with all the renters. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? What is it called? Moratorium, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to run into that issue. What happens if you bought a property, you do a final walkthrough, and they're like, hey, we're about to move in like 3 more days on the day we close.
Yeah.
They're not moved out. You close on a deal. They stay in the home.
Squatting.
Now, here's the thing. I just seen a video on YouTube.
I know.
Person from California bought a home cash, $600. Seller got paid. He said, I ain't moving out. You know what? I felt like if we were in that position where we did a final walkthrough and they vacated the property, would have been better. But I can tell you, that didn't happen there.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yep. Isn't that crazy how that works? Like,
it is, man.
You know what? That is like some messed up stuff, man. How do you do that to somebody, right?
There was somebody, I'm not going to go off topic,
Yeah.
collected rent. Guy was from, I think he was like Utah or Colorado.
Yeah.
They took the money, dude. The realtor took the money.
Yeah.
I think it was a realtor. It might have been somebody else, but he was posing as being the landlord.
Yeah.
Got collected. The guy had to move back. He didn't have any more money.
Oh my gosh.
You guys got to be watching out, man.
Ooh,
watch your back.
That is crazy. You know what? I was talking so much, like I am burnt out. So now we are gonna take it to a whole nother episode with Dan French with the financing. Give it to
Chakits,
me.
where do you think rates are at, buddy?
I think rates went up an eighth of a point.
No, they've been going up quite a bit, but rates.
Don't tell me.
If you go to
Your last lock in, 3.2%.
No,
That's too high.
it was a little bit higher than
Oh, are
what
you
I know.
serious?
Yeah, I'm like at around 3 1/8. But you got to look, man. You can go right on here in Freddie Mac. They're looking at 3 point. It's like a little bit above 3%. One of the things though is we got better in the last couple of days. Okay, in pricing. Now we always talk. This doesn't fluctuate.
Yeah.
Where it's like an 1/8 or a 1/4 of a point. What happens is that the pricing on that rate got better. That's when you talk about discount or you talk about buy down or maybe even a lender credit, which is all mortgage talk. But basically, it doesn't change that much. There's not a big, huge influx as far as how it goes up or down.
Yeah.
Very slow process. So pricing got a little bit better.
Okay.
But since the start of the year, we're still up 0.5% since where rates were at last year. Really? So, yeah, I mean, we're still higher. So you would think that refis would go down.
Yeah.
But they looked at this in February, and there was some news that came out that said they had a record. I think the numbers for refis were up like 9 years ago. It was like some record month in February of 9 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, so people know that refis are going on. So we're starting to see people come back for rates because now it's opposite. Before it was like, well, rates are so low, I'm going to take advantage. Well, you know how people are.
Yeah.
As long as it stays low, they're going to just bide their time. They're going to just kind of kick the can down the road, as we talk about. Now they're like, oh, I got to get it. I got to do it now. Rates are going up. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's starting to go into a frenzy about it.
Yeah.
And so you see that happening. You see refinances now starting to increase. A lot of cash out. People's equity position, a lot of cash out.
Hold on. People are actually cashing out and
100%.
taking it. What are they doing with that money?
Well, they're paying off some debt. I got somebody that just wants to pull it out because he can. It's the equity's there. You can't get the money out. And if rates go up, right, they're looking at a cheap money. I'm not saying that they wouldn't do it if it went to 4.5%, but when you look at rates at 3%, they're doing cash out. So we're seeing a big influx in that. Obviously, new home builds, right, are a big commodity right now with this inventory shortage. And I don't know, man. It's just
I'm kind of scared. So this is almost like 2008 again. People are actually pulling their money out.
Well, their equity position. I mean, think about it.
This is like a cashing out like an ATM
Look,
machine.
housing market update. Home prices post 17% annual gain, largest in 5 years.
Oh my gosh, that is dangerous.
Well, look, average median price home increased 17%, $330,000. Is that now? I think that's where it's across the country. That's the average median price. Here in Vegas, is it 330 or is it a lot higher?
345. I think we're at 355 now.
So we're just a different stratosphere. Well, I mean, it's not crazy, but
everything's all local. So
yeah,
real estate is local.
Well, you go back, dude. The Fed is talking about raising the inflation, and everybody's like, "Well, that's not a good thing," and it's not. I don't feel like inflation's good, but they're doing that to stimulate the economy. We see all these things happening. They're saying that the boom is going to happen where the stimulus is there, COVID, everybody's back to work, all this stuff. It's second part of this year.
Yeah.
They're looking at this economy is really going to be booming. We saw this recently.
Yeah.
You look at what's going on in Vegas. Vegas right now is seeing a lot of people coming here. We had March Madness. I couldn't even.
Conventions are coming. That's crazy.
This is coming back. Now, the thing to look at, though, is they got that 2.2% core inflation rate that they want to have at the end of this year. By the end of this year, they want it to be at 2.2. It's increasing slowly, and they're putting their plan to work. But what is going to happen in 2022? Is aggregate spending and all these things with cost of goods and services, is that going to still be the supply and demand? Is it going to still be there? So, yeah, it's great that they're stimulating it now, but we're going to see what's going to happen next year.
Yeah.
When you go to looking at, I want to say one other thing. There's something I want to talk about with, let me see here. So the inventory, housing inventory, we just talked about that. So 2020 had a housing inventory where there's a contribution of why it was down. Mm-hmm. It was because of the COVID.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody knows this. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
It didn't really stop it either.
Well, people stayed in their homes.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, well, what's going to happen in 2021? Yeah. So I have some predictions. Or not predictions, maybe some things to consider.
Oh, let's see that crystal ball. You got a crystal ball.
Yeah, so right now we're seeing record low inventory, but so what does this mean for 2021? First, making the assumption that the pandemic will be most likely over. So we know that the pandemic is starting to go away a little bit. It's not going to completely go away, but you got the vaccine.
I think people are loosening up.
They're loosening up, right? And the cities are opening up. Things are opening up. People used to move away from cities.
Yeah.
because of they can work from home. Well, there's nothing like entertainment, right? You got entertainment, you got culture, right? And also you got jobs in these big cities. So people will start to flock back. Now, there's still going to be some people that are going to still work remotely. That's not going to change. But people are going to still say, you know what? You know what? I'm going to go back. You know, jobs are going to come back in the cities. So there's always that aura of working and being in a city and having that culture. So that's probably going to come back. Some of the demographics they're looking at baby boomers putting their house on the market, right? Because they want to downsize. And they're talking about older people doing that. So that's going to start to come back. Also, what is the big thing for people right now? They're not letting people walk in their house, or they weren't because COVID was going on.
Yeah.
Now they're letting people walk in their home, feel the environment. They're letting people come in. So that's also going to be something that's going to take place here in 2021. So these things are starting to loosen up. And I'm going to say that I really feel like the inventory is going to start to kind of open up here. I really do, especially when it started. Yeah, well, the summertime, kids, are going to be, they're out of school. People are going to want to move. You look at home builders will continue to respond with low inventories, and they're going to continue to keep building. And as they keep building, and as these people start to loosen up, the eviction situation, as that kind of settles, hopefully it settles good. You know what I mean? Like it was a good situation.
But this is what I don't understand though. If people sell, where are they going to move to?
And that's a good question.
It's like, why even sell? Because
yes, you're 100% right. Okay, the problem is you have a person that wants to sell. Where do they go?
Exactly.
Right? And so
you were in this situation.
Right, where do you go? And that's the thing. So you could have 15, 20 people as a realtor that you're working for listing their home. Great. What other options? Unless you're going to move out of state somewhere else, or you have something already lined up, or maybe you're going new home. What are you going to do?
It's almost like a catch-22. It's like, okay, you have a short inventory. You're saying that more people are going to come there's going to be more properties that come on the market, but then the question is like, where do they go? The only people that are probably going to sell is if they move out of state, because if they scale up, they're still going to be paying maybe the same or even more, and sometimes that doesn't even make sense. But then if people do sell because they want to pocket the money, then they're going to have to rent. If they want to rent, there's not enough rentals out there, so then the rents will also go up. So it's almost like a catch-22 at this point.
It is, but I think as long as that you see that if rates continue to go up, less people are going to want to move because of it. More people, if you get past this eviction situation, or people staying in their home, or jobs really start to come back, this is going to take place. Is it going to take place for the second quarter? Probably not. Probably not even the third quarter, beginning third quarter. Yeah. I'm going to start to see this, I think, start to come back in the later part of the third quarter, beginning fourth quarter, where you're going to start to see more things open up. Like right now, it's just a transition period, and it's slowly building. But I do think that this inventory will come back. Is it going to be like it was, a few years back? No, it's going to take time.
You want to know something? I think this local market is going to go high to the point where it's almost going to be like California, and here's why. I think with all this hyperinflation, people are not going to be moving away from here. Okay. People are trying to get in here because things are getting more and more expensive, and they're looking around the whole United States to see where's the best place to live. Right. Well, Vegas is one of them because of the cost of living, but it will get to a point where it does get expensive.
Two things got to happen.
What I'm saying is that I think we got a couple more years, because if you take a look across the board, as far as the median price point, right, for a home across the board throughout the United States, this is still one of the cheapest places to live, and there's a lot of opportunity here, and the location is great, and the weather is also
Here's what's going to happen. If the quicker that the Fed can put in this plan into place, which they've been doing, where people get back to work, lives get back to normal, people are going to have more confidence.
I mean, what is normal? This is already normal.
Normal is you have a job that you can pay your bills, and you have money left over, and you know that it's secure. Yeah. You know that there's nothing holding us back. We're only at 50% capacity here in Las Vegas. So when you look at these things where you got people back to work, everything's opened up 100%, then also in contingent to that, you also have people that are now past the situation with the evictions and the people that have to stay in their home, and now everything's kind of turns into more of a normal market. The Fed continues to pump the economy with stimulus and with all kinds of things to try to generate some type of boost with GDP. You're going to see these things start to recover, and I think people are going to start. It's going to come down to, are people confident to leave their home knowing that they have a place to go and that their job is secure. And I think once you start to get that consumer confidence going again, you're going to start see more people moving. Life is going to come back to normal. Is it going to be right away? No, it could be, a couple quarters. I mean, it could be close to the end of the year, but that's, I think, the plan. That's the thing that they're looking at.
You know what's crazy is when I bought my primary residence.
Yeah.
Right. It was at the end of, I think, 2008 in December.
Right.
And I thought that's when the market tanked. Oh boy, I was wrong. It dropped another like 50,000. I thought I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
But this is before I became a realtor. But anyway, I looked at the sale of the original owner. He paid like $380. And what's crazy is like I'm looking at the comps in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
We're back at that level, dude. Like 2008. 2007 and stuff. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy, but I think, like I said,
it's almost scary at the same time. I feel like, am I missing the boat?
Well, like again, though, we're in a different situation.
Yeah.
This is uncharted waters.
It's always uncharted
but this
waters.
is a totally different chapter, right? It's like we haven't been through this chapter yet.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out how this book's going to end.
Yeah.
And the thing is we really don't know. We just know that
Does that mean it's not going to end good?
We hope. But there's key points that's happening where it leads up to, and I'm saying that because is there hope right away? Like inventory is just going to happen, and no, but I foresee these things happening, and that's how it's going to get to that point where the market does open up. Existing homes come back. How many homes do we have in the market right now, roughly?
You know what? Let's pull that up while you have this.
You said average days are 12 days, but if you got like 2,000 homes to look at, that's nothing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
What do you got to look forward to?
Nothing.
So, if you're renting and you're looking for a place, or if, let's say you own a home and you're looking for a place to rent.
Yeah.
What's out there to rent too? You got to put that in perspective. There's there's a shortage of rentals for people renting homes.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are forced to go and look for, just apartments and stuff. There's just not a lot to choose from, but we're starting to see signs.
Take
and that's what I'm looking at.
They're not going to be able to see this, but we have a total of 1,901 homes currently on the market. The townhomes here, we have a total of 204. In condos, we have a total of 427. So, there's really not that many homes whatsoever.
Well, and maybe it discourages people, but at the end of the day, I think that all we can do is go up. We can go down too, but from what I'm seeing with the economy and what's happening, and you got the Fed pumping money, you're buying bonds, they're doing everything they can to stimulate this thing.
Yeah,
I can't foresee why at least 2021 we'll start to see an
increase.
Have
less than a month of supply.
That's nothing,
dude. And check this out: if we went single family residence for the median price point for a home right now, at 355 and below, a minimum of 3 bedrooms and up. Across the valley, there's only a total of 487 homes that are currently available.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Now, let's see what you can actually
So you're out there and you're a $350,000, $400,000 buyer.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Nothing. Well, let's take a look.
What do you got? They got to see, man. They got to get an idea,
Well, let's take a look. That's what you got right here. All right, let's move on to the next one. Oh, so this tells me that some land here.
That looks like it's in Pahrump.
Yeah, we're going to skip that. Okay, so here's a good prime example. So this is not that bad. So for 350, right? Let's take a look at this together. Can you see that there, Dan? Okay. That's not a bad house. Look at that. You got the blinds, 18 by 18 porcelain tile, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, 36 upper cabinets.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
This definitely looks like an American West home. Look at this. Nice and open right here. Take a look at that. I love how this is kind of sectioned off right here. Not bad of a home, right?
No, not for the price. It's crazy.
So you still have an opportunity.
Yeah, there's opportunity, yeah.
However, let me go back here. I'm going to see how many days on the market for this property. Okay. Days on the market, 0 days. Okay. 0 days.
What does that mean? It was put on the market and it's already
today.
sold?
No. Trust me. Dude, okay, check this out, Dan.
It's gone. Don't even breathe.
There was a video that I did, and it had to do with a home that had a casita, right, for $500,000, right? Check this out. In Henderson.
Yep.
I had Rudy to go out to take pictures. I wasted $200. That thing had offers way before Rudy could actually send me back the pictures, dude.
It's crazy, dude.
So you telling me?
So what was the point of sending Rudy? Just like
I know.
Rudy, good job, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to go back out.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's crazy. Now, do we have anything else with the financing that you want to?
No,
talk
I got
about?
nothing else, man. Rates are gonna stay. My opinion is rates are gonna stay. They might keep going up a little bit.
Yeah.
They could even creep up to 3.5. People don't understand though. It's like the credit score and also other factors. You know, compensating factors determine what your rate's going to be. So when you have somebody that has maybe a 620 score versus a 680 score, rates are going to fluctuate. And when you look at where rates are at and where they're going, I feel that the rates are going to maybe continue to go up a little bit. They could peak out at maybe 3.5 if you're somebody out there that's a top tier buyer. When I say top tier, that's a 740 or higher credit score. And guys, if you're not that score, we can always do a simulator to see if we can get you there. But going back to rates are going to probably consistently stay going up. They usually mirror what inflation does. And so when you look at rates, you look at factors, you got loan to value, down payment, what type of occupancy, all of these things consider in rates. So, you know, I don't know. I think that rates are going to continue to probably stay right where they're at. I don't think the government or the Fed can really sustain or really increase rates too much, because if they do, then what's going to happen is they're not going to be able to afford a lot of other things, and they think they know that. Remember back in the day when they raised those rates to 5%?
Yeah.
Dude, everybody stopped.
Yeah.
And they knew the economy slowed down. So they're monitoring that too. Yes, they need inflation, but they're monitoring that stuff.
I wonder what that threshold is. 3.5%. You know, if we hit
like I said, I think it's going to increase.
You know, if we hit 4%, this thing is dead.
Well, no. Look, at people, they don't understand, man. I used to do loans when it was 12 and 13%.
Dude, how old are you?
I'm not that old. Just turned 28. Just like
You're like 12, 13%. Damn, what era is this?
No, man, I really did. I had somebody call me the other day.
Did you really?
Yes.
That must have been hard money, dude.
I had somebody call me the other day and they go,
can I refinance this 12%?
Well, they go, hey, do you think 3.5's a high rate? And I said, no. It's not.
Stop acting like that. You get so comfortable. You know what?
It's people are used to it. They're accustomed to it. It's been there. But man, I remember 9, 10%, 12, 13%. They don't know. The reason
you don't know.
Nobody knows. Now I understand, like there's a huge, like if you have a huge increase in a short window, I'm going to retract. I'm going to be like, wait a second, I got to watch this, you know?
Yeah.
But if it's like going up maybe 1/8 of a point over the course of a month, that's nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it's really not. I mean, yes, is it going up? Sure. Should you be aware of it? And should you look at the trend? Sure. Is it going to make a life or, you know, it's not going to make a huge difference. It's not going to. So, guys, it's great rates. You know, even if it went to 4.5, it's great rates.
Well, it's not about, it is a great rate, but the problem here is that your monthly payment goes higher.
But people are using that as an excuse not to buy. I understand if rates go up.
Here's the thing. I don't think they're using it as an excuse, because what they're telling you is that my monthly payment is just too high.
Well, if
if you want to get technical, right?
Let me explain this.
Yeah.
So if you go up to a 4.5% rate, let's say your payment jumps $100. It's a lot, right? It is.
That's grocery money, bro.
Well, no, it is.
You know what I can do with $100?
But let me say this. So if you go and you buy a home and you got a 4.5 rate, let's say it goes up to that, it's $100. Do you think that you can take away that $100 from something else if you needed to and then place it? If it jumped $500, that's a car payment, right? For a lot of people, that's a big deal. But jumping 100, now if it goes to 5, 5.5, 6, now I can understand. You know, like now we're looking at really big. When it goes up a full point and a half, you're looking at a huge difference. I'm just saying the slight increases is not a huge deal.
So don't focus on the interest rate or the APR right now. Focus on what your monthly payment is going to be.
You want to focus on the APR because that's going to tell you what you're getting charged from your lender.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, a consumer, what they're really what they're basing their situation on is really what their monthly payment is.
What it is people look online and they see all this stuff happening.
That's where they start.
Yeah, that's where they start, and they get all discouraged because it went up a quarter or maybe 1/8 of a point, which is really nothing. Yes, is it going up? Sure, but it shouldn't push you out of the market. Now, if it goes up a point and a half, and you're like, well, this is, you know, with the prices of homes where they're at, sure, you might want to take a look at that.
And also be aware, teaser rates.
That's right.
And this is where they get you. Because you look online, 3.2, 2.8, but if you read the fine print, you ain't getting that.
Look, at the end of the day,
I mean, you could.
I'm gonna kind of,
but there's certain situations. I mean, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put it out there.
Put it on blast.
I'm gonna put it on blast. So, yeah, this is it right here. So, you're never committed to a lender ever.
Yeah.
And you can actually have a lender tell you, here's my loan estimate, and it's only good for so many days. That's still not your rate. Your rate is not your rate until you're in a contract and you lock in.
Yeah.
That's when it's your rate. If you got somebody online that says this is the rate, that's not the rate. There's so many layers to compensating factors, your credit score, how much you're putting down, like I said, occupancy, when the market, what's the market doing? These bonds, that's really where they come from. They're traded 3 or 4 times a day. That means your pricing could change 3 or 4 times a day. So all I'm saying, man, is that you guys got to be aware. Lenders, you know, when you give a commitment to somebody, that is their rate, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the same rate. And a lot of those banks on there, it's all teaser. They're getting the phones to ring. All of a sudden, things change.
Yeah.
Happens all the time, man.
Mm-hmm.
So
my question to you as a consumer, how do I get the best rates or the best deal?
Well, it's not about how you get. I mean, obviously, if you put down money, you put down 20%, you got an 800 credit score.
Who's got 20%?
Well, I'm just saying that's where you're asking me how you get the best rate. That's how you get it, right? So you get it that way. You have low debt to income ratio, your
credit score.
Maybe you have reserves, but it all comes back to, when am I getting into a contract?
Yeah.
You could sit here right now and I can say, you know what, guys? Today's rate is 3%, 3.09 by Freddie Mac. Rah, rah, rah.
Then you buy a brand new home 6 months later.
Yeah, and then you buy, or even if you're in contract, and let's say by the time that you get into contract, it's 2 or 3 months later, existing home, not even new.
Yeah.
Rates might be up an eighth of a quarter of a point. Mm-hmm. It's not the same rate that was quoted then. Why? Because these things are changing every day.
Yeah.
It's just hard. It's a moving target. So it's good to look at the trend. I would say you have to have a little flexibility. And everybody's thinking out there, well, I want that top tier rate. And you might be entitled to it, but it might not be what you think it is.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
That's good information. Let's get into some of these questions here. What do we got, Dan?
I have a question since I missed your last live event. How long does the builder have you under contract when you walk through their models and filled out their paper?
Like the paperwork?
Yeah.
So basically how it works is once you sign their contract, and it depends on the builder, as soon as they take the earnest money deposit, technically you only have 5 days, okay? Because the builder must provide an HOA resale package, and at that point you have a right to cancel out. But typically what I tell my clients is, look, there's a couple contingencies with brand new homes, okay? One of the contingencies is the 5 days, right of refusal. At that point, you can just walk out of the deal, okay? You got a 21-day, right, with the appraiser.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not the appraisal, the underwriter. So you have to be fully approved through the builder, right, in 21 days, or your own lender. So if you can't get those done, you can actually get your earnest money deposit back. But other than that, once you're in at this point. So for you to be covered, the rule of thumb is just 5 days as soon as you sign that contract.
You got 5 days to back out, right?
Yeah, basically. So that's the best way
Hey,
to
I got a question. On a new home, do they got to give you like a booklet of what that plat map was, or like what the what is that called? Is there a certain name for that?
What
like, you know how like when they say, okay, here's the foundation, and we had somebody come out, a surveyor or somebody that tested the soils.
Yeah, it's basically a plat map. So you can go on the county records and pull up the plat map. It tells you the square footage of the lot. It shows you the setback based upon the type of model. So what you're going to see is a lot of these homes are like 100 by 40 feet, right?
Yeah.
So the lots are really not that big. It's pretty much standard. But also depending on the type of model that you have, it shows from the back of the home to the wall, right? Because you have to have from one neighbor to another, it's 10 feet. Then you have that retaining wall, right? That's a total of 6 feet, 9 blocks. So, I mean, there's certain things that have to be done, and it all has to be drawn out. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go to the next one. Even a hot market, I've lowballed cash. 1 week closing, no stress buyer. They took my lowest price over the higher offers because of a quick, easy sale.
That's a good point.
No worries.
Yeah. And it's all case by case because
100%.
Look, I've been doing this now for, 10 years, I think. And every transaction is never the same.
Well, cash is king.
Not necessarily.
In most cases.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
I'm just saying this is because it really depends on the seller situation, right? how fast they're looking to get out. And let me give you a prime example, like in today's market, right?
Yep.
I got a buddy right now, Ryan Panina. Check him out on YouTube, okay? Ryan, give a shout out to Ryan. Dude, this guy is epic. Anyway, he flips properties for a living, right? Market is high. The question is, why would I sell it to him when I could just sell into open market? Because of the position of the seller, right? They may need to sell. This person is probably buying the property because it needs a little bit of work.
Yeah, but you know what? A lot of these sellers, and I'm going to say majority of the market, because I can say cash is king, but I think you have a point.
It's situation.
Well, the sellers, though, man, they know this is the hot market. So if I'm a seller, why would I use somebody like Open Door or something like that, or do a quick sale, unless, like you said, unless you had to. But I'm going to say, what would you say, 85% of these people that have houses know they're sitting on a gold mine.
Yeah,
they really do.
So, yeah.
And they're like, you know what? Highest and best. Give me what I want.
Dude, it's getting crazy to the point where the market is so overinflated, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Builders are now retracting commissions, right, from the agents because they don't care, because at the end of the day, they're getting paid, okay? Agents are getting changed.
Yeah.
Also on resales now.
Dude.
What I'm looking on resales of what the listing agent is paying the selling agent is dropping.
I'm going to tell you a story.
I had an agent. Good one?
It might be, but I've had agents, man, they've put out 3 offers.
3 offers.
And they've got them all rejected.
Oh, crap. I hate when that happens.
I think it was like 3 or 4. Man, this girl was depressed, dude. I was talking to her the other day. She's a realtor. Seasoned. You know, and I'm just like, man, what's going on? She's like, I can't get an offer accepted.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, well, where's your price range? And it's always that 300 to 500.
Those are tough because remember,
dude, you're fighting.
Ooh, basically,
you're fighting.
You ever remember Mike Tyson Punch Out?
Yeah. Hey, it's almost like who's gonna blink first,
dude. I would always make it to Mike Tyson, but damn, I couldn't beat that game, man. I always got punched out. One punch.
I always remember the guy where you hit in the stomach and he had to pull his pants up.
Yeah, King. What's his name? King Hut or something? King something.
Dude, I would like if that
like you got to time
up,
it. You like
yeah.
Boop. And you got to like duck or something like that. That was a fun game, man.
I'm telling you, this market, it's hot.
Yeah.
And it's like people
On
know.
fire.
Well, look, sellers know, and the sellers are like, you know what? I don't have to move because
they call the shots.
They call the shots.
Yeah.
They're in complete control. They're actually telling the listing agent what to do. When the seller, like sometimes the seller agent will be like, hey, you know what? You might want to take this deal. You got people like, nah, I'm not going to do that.
I'm good.
I'll tell you what I want to sell it at. You know what I mean? Oh, you don't think it's going to appraise? Well, let's see what they do. 30,000 above. Let's see what you got.
Whoa, 30,000 above.
Dude, I've seen it.
I know.
Doesn't mean it's going to appraise.
Yeah.
No appraisal contingency.
Now, here's the thing. You're probably sitting there and wondering why, as a buyer, would I pay $5,000 more? Well, here's why. Okay. If you're only approved for a certain dollar amount, and you know you can get the property and you're going to eat $5,000 up front, you know that the market is going up 1%. So, I mean, look, a couple months, you'll get that money back. Now, if you sat around and you waited for that right deal, now what you're doing is you're chasing the market because now home pricing has gone up additional 3% more. So these are things that you have to have an open mind and also think about.
Here's my question to you.
Yeah.
Price the equity in properties went up 17%.
Yeah.
I don't know what it went up here. That was over across the country. That's like a more of a universal. Let's say it goes up 17% here.
Yeah.
Right. How long would it take somebody back if they said, you know what, screw it, I'm going to do 20,000 or 30,000, but you're walking into negative equity.
Well, it depends.
How much time would that take you to break even?
Good question. Math is very simple. If last year went up 10%, you take that divided by 12, right? Then that shows you how long you got to stay in the property, right? Just to get your money back. It's very simple.
So why would, look, unless you, like, I don't know, man. It's like,
now, can the market crash? Yeah, the market could definitely crash.
Well, the market would crash, I think, if, again, and we're not going to go down that
I'm always
hole,
disclosing this is because here's the thing.
I'm looking at what the sellers are doing is what I'm saying. Because the sellers got the control. They're monopolizing what happens with this economy here locally. Yeah. I can't say for other states.
Yeah.
What are they going to do, though? Like, are they just going to keep sitting on that nest egg and then...
Well, and also, what do you do with that money?
What do you mean? What do you do with the money?
With the sellers.
You mean asking above, you mean? Like,
no, I'm just talking about, like, look, as a seller, you sell the money, you sell the property, you get a profit, and it's like, what do? You can't deploy it back out in real estate because you're paying top dollar.
Here's the problem.
Unless you're flipping properties.
The problem with this market is you get that money.
Yeah.
Where are you going to go?
Exactly.
Are you like I'm not joking.
And
right?
you hold on, and here's the thing. This is the crazy thing to me. You hold on to that money, You're chasing inflation 2.2% every single year. So it's like you get the money, but then you got inflation. So you're losing money. But then it's like, okay, I'm going to hold on to the property, cash flow, but I'm only making this much, right? And I'm only probably making 4 or 5%.
If this inventory starts to free up, we start to see what I see is happening where they, slowly process. Sellers might only have to the end of this year before they can sell, where they're going to make maximum profit. Because if these things start to open up where the properties, like I said,
I don't think it's going to open up, dude.
Well, we'll see.
Inventory is low.
We'll see. Like I said, the inventory could potentially get better. I'm not saying it is, but I can't foresee how, dude, there's not going to be anybody trying to leave their house then.
Yeah.
Because where are they going to go? It's like you can't just keep, well, I can sell my house for $400,000, but then I got to go buy a $600,000 house because today's market's just $600,000. Like, what do nobody's going to do that. So they'll just stay put. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is weird. But you know what? I can say one thing.
Yeah.
Markets have always had a correction.
That is correct. Let's get into another question here.
All right. So even at a hot market, okay, we already talked to that one. Would you suggest getting home insurance through the builder?
I definitely would get a quote, but for me, when it comes to insurance, this is what I do. I actually contact my insurance company, like I'm with Allstate, right? And the reason why I go through Allstate is because my life insurance policy, all my rental properties are there, all my cars there. And when you do that, you get more of a package deal. So it's a little bit more cheaper. In addition to that, if you do this, what you need to do is get with the lender that you are working with and provide the contact information of your agent to your lender. So that way, when they go through the closing process and they go through the escrow account, everything is all combined together. And that's the best way to handle that situation.
Still, though, I think that consumers need to shop. Like, they don't, like, yeah, you can go through the builder's insurance company.
Yeah.
Right? But what if you save money going somewhere else? And it's like, like I know, look, Guaranteed Rate has that.
Yeah.
And we got to show that we're an affiliated business, with an insurance company. But, I think it takes away or it disarms people if they're like, you know what, it's all one package deal. Well, what's the point of going to shop then? Like you have all the rights, you have all the control. So I don't know. I can't really say for that. So let's look at this next one. Dallas, Texas versus Las Vegas, Nevada. Which one has better lofts?
That I don't know because I don't know anything about that market. So I can't answer that question.
I'm not even going to try to.
You guys let me know in the comments below which is a better market.
Absolutely.
Educate us because I don't know.
Let's look at it. Do you recommend to lock your rate with a float down option with a new build that's more than 365 days? Again, that's going to come down to you as a consumer understanding. Do you have confidence in the economy? Do you think rates are going to keep going up? As a lender, I can just say this is what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
But you got to make that decision. I can tell you one thing is that if you lock that rate in on an extended lock and there's a premium, you can't get that money back. Yeah. So you might be paying thousands of dollars to lock it on a year lock. Mm-hmm. You can do it, but it's up to you. You got to play the market or you can do that. For me, I would just look at the trend and kind of keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
And if things really started to go crazy, maybe I would consider doing an extended lock. But that would be my last resort. You can't get that money back.
Gotcha. Now, whenever you guys got some free time, please visit lvhomeexperts.com. It is a great website to get started. Also, before you even start looking for homes, don't forget to check out the financing. Get registered with Dan. We're going to click on the financing here. And the financing is not working. I don't know why. Okay, because it's actually loading. So we're going to go ahead and skip that. And whenever you have some free time, check out my boy, Dan French. He's got a YouTube channel. We got to support Dan here because Dan is a hard-working, I was going to say realtor. I don't know why. But
not a realtor.
You're not a realtor. You're a lender. Duh. So his channel has to do with financing, real estate, money talk, podcast hosting, and also entrepreneurship. So he's got a bunch of videos here. What I need you guys to do right now, he has 108 subscribers. We need to get to him to 1,000. So he's got a lot of great content. So go ahead and check him out. Also, if
Appreciate
you guys
that,
have not had a chance to subscribe to this YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys from the bottom of my heart. I really do, okay? Other than that, until next time, well, actually until next week, Wednesday at 5 Pacific Standard Time.
Yep.
I'm getting burnt out now. I'm
No,
winding
man,
down.
you're doing good. Keep it. Finish it off.
Finishing it off strong, baby. Until next time, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in.